You want allies to go after the gods? I've got places to look.
Where do we start? I'll be damned.
The Dragon Age franchise has always been a series of games very close to my heart. I've always said that Origins was the kind of game that made me the kind of gamer I am today. It's an RPG where you get to create your own character and intermingle with these other characters with strong and well-defined personalities. There's choice and consequence and jaw-dropping beautiful locations. And now, after 10 exhaustingly long years, fans have finally got their hands on Dragon Age the Veilguard, and I can honestly say that I have truly enjoyed every single minute of it. Hello crows and non-crows alike, my name is Joe Mack, otherwise known as Support Crow, and today I am giving you 5 reasons why I love Dragon Age the Veilguard. Number 1, the factions. Now in Character Creator you get to choose one of 6 backstories. The Grey Wardens, the Morn Watch, the Antivan Crows, the Veil Jumpers, the Lords of Fortune, and the Shadow Dragons. I was a Shadow Dragon for a little bit, and then I was a Grey Warden, and then I was an Antivan Crow. And although it is evident that some of these factions could have been more equal to others, I enjoyed it nevertheless. I enjoyed having that option and having moments throughout the game where that backstory could be called back upon. It made me very nostalgic for the Origins in Dragon Age Origins. Every time my character brought up the fact that I was a Shadow Dragon, or when someone addressed me as like a Warden, it tickled a part of my brain that really released some dopamine. I hope that BioWare expands further upon this feature in the next game, because it was something that I found very enjoyable, but also very replayable. I kept going back. I started after the first initial playthrough, I went back. I haven't finished my second playthrough because I have multiple second playthroughs. And I'm just like steadily and assuredly moving up one and the other. There's no telling who's going to reach the finish line first. Number 2, the level design. Now, I have always said that BioWare should focus more on linear level design. And when the news came out that they were going to focus on linear level design for Veilguard, I was very excited. I thought they were gonna like ditch the whole open world thing entirely, and maybe I just sort of like talked myself into that. But that ends up not entirely being the case. There are definitely levels in this game that are absolutely spectacular. You know, Weisshaupt Fortress, the Oshieri, wherever that place you go to with Harding, and I'm bad with dwarven names, I'm sorry. Tearstone Island, anything with a start and a middle and the end, BioWare nails down like that. And then you have these little hub areas. And although I'm not necessarily a fan, they work. And this is coming from someone who has severe open world fatigue. I play RPG games the majority of the time, and every other RPG game nowadays is an open world game. And you know, it was a good trend. It was a nice thing to have while it lasted, but now I'm just getting burnt out on it. Yeah, that's part of the reason why I enjoy the level design for Veilguard so much, is because it gives you those breaks in between those sections. In that narrative, you get these distinctly handcrafted and finite locations that you visit, and they're enjoyable. You only get to experience them once. A lot of fans talk about Weisshaupt Fortress, how big and impressive that was. My favorite though was the Oshieri, and not just because of Lucanus, but also because you kind of get to go back there in his mind. And the reason why that was really interesting is because the Oshieri was this finite location with its own little underwater assets. And once you're done with that, you're kind of done with that. However, you do get to go back a little bit and kind of revisit it, and it plays into this companion story and why it's so important. And you recall back to your time in the Oshieri and to different moments throughout this companion's quest by interacting with the different people that are there. And that was really cool for me. Reason number 3, it's Act 3. And if you ask any fan about, what part of the game is like the best, 9 times out of 10 they will tell you that the final part of the game, the Act 3 of it, is easily a clear sign of BioWare doing what they do best, which is giving you emotional trauma. I liked how this game started. It's a slow start and it's pretty linear, but that ending, oh my god, that ending. Those last few missions where at Tearstone Island in the last gambit and your fight all the way up to Elgranon, where your efforts are just totaled up, and what you've decided to do with your companions, if anything, is really brought to bear into the situation. And many people compare it to how dire it feels towards the end of Mass Effect 2 with the suicide mission, and I can confirm it is very much like that. If you just sort of dick around and don't care about your companions, if you don't try to prepare more than just the bare minimum, you risk killing everyone. And that's really something that I really want from RPGs here lately. There's a lot of games nowadays where you go into like the final quest and there doesn't really feel like that there's any stakes involved. The Outer Worlds, Mass Effect Andromeda, Mass Effect 3, Hogwarts Legacy, even the final part of Baldur's Gate 3, I didn't feel like there was a chance that my friends could die. And I want to have that feeling. I want to feel my heart get all the way up to here the entire time, and that's how it should feel, in my opinion, when you reach the end of a game and you come across with this final conflict, with this world-ending entity. It should feel like everyone is in danger. So yeah, while it can be debated about whether or not your choices make any kind of difference throughout the first and second parts of the game, Veilguard does an ending of the game, of any game, in my opinion, perfectly. It makes you feel like your choices mattered all the way up to the point. I get a feeling that I'm not going to have that kind of ending anymore. And I feel like a lot of storytellers are just sort of pulling their punches. Number 4, the companions. Yeah, I love the companions in any Dragon Age game. This Dragon Age game feels a bit more real. It feels more relevant to the story. It feels more important to have them around. And I say that because a lot of the companions that you bring along the way in the previous games, not all of them, there's certainly ones like, Varric and Cassandra and Solus, obviously, where they feel like they should belong there. But there's plenty of other characters out there that are just sort of like there for the ride. This is the first game where I feel like the majority of the companions that are there should be there. As for who my favorites are, I have to say Emmerich is a really good one. I enjoy the concept of his character because he's a necromancer. And up until this point, I've seen a lot of necromancers that are just sort of like doom and gloom and, death is all their thing. But this is a necromancer who's very, very respectful of death. He's very respectful to the corpses that he's animating and the spirits that are being housed within them. And he's afraid of his own mortality, of dying one day, to the point of considering lichdom, which is basically him, shedding away most of his material wants and desires for the chance of endlessly protecting the Grand Necropolis, which is supposedly a very high honor. So yeah, I enjoyed his character a lot. Another character I really enjoyed was Nev Gallus. Nev, deep down, is just someone who has a lot of questions. She is a private detective who just wants to make her home a better place, one solved case at a time. Her magic is just a tool for her to use in a grander toolkit of other tools to use. And my other favorite is Lucanus, because, you know, he's dark, complex, and intriguing. And lastly, number 5, what I love about this game for this last one is that there is no live service element to this game. There's no marketplace, there's no microtransaction shenanigans, there's none of that EA deviltry in this game. And I know it's easy to list out a bunch of options that are negative and that are not in the game and just say congrats, huzzah. But the reason why I'm saying this is because I believe, if like the rumors and speculations were actually true, I believe that we were very, very close to seeing what an always online live service Dragon Age game could have been like. And I am extremely grateful that that is not the case. You know, for some reason, publishers still want to make the gamble on the live service slot machine, even though their target audience doesn't want anything to do with that. But yes, I am extremely grateful that Veilguard is not a live service game, and I hope and pray that the next Dragon Age game and the next Mass Effect, or whatever they're going to make, remains and sticks to their single player roots. And those have been my 5 reasons why I love Veilguard, but since you made it this far, I'll give you one more. The community and the development team. Whenever a game like this comes out, the community immediately kind of like rushes around it, and we all just sort of like compare stories about the choices that we made and the things we saw along the way, and people start sharing fan art, and it's just a great time. It is like, you know, not only are you getting a release of a game, you're also getting like months of a celebration that is just focused on this content. But I also want to, you know, shout out to the development team out there in BioWare, because it's a tad obvious that the studio has been having some rough times. You know, you've had people leaving, you've had people being laid off, you had the pandemic, you've had years of developing this game, and then it really just getting nominated for an accessibility option, which is granted. I mean, it's well deserved. I mean, it has some of the best or most accessibility options that I've seen in a video game. Congratulations. The point is that you lot have kind of gone through hell, whether you kind of acknowledge it or not. So I just want y'all to know that there's plenty of fans out there that are on your side, that are greatly appreciative of the work that you do and genuinely enjoy the stories you tell. So wherever you go, whatever happens, know that you got some fans with you. Well, these were the reasons why I love Veilguard. Part of me will hold out hope that there will be DLC. There won't be, but you know, I can still be delusional. Let me know what you loved and liked about Dragon Age: The Veilguard, and tell me down in the comments who you romanced. I'm curious. I'm working on another video about what I'd like to see in Dragon Age 5 should it come to pass. And yeah, until then, be safe, be well, be kind. Bye-bye.